Hello and welcome. This is Elisa V, and welcome to the Forecast, episode 19. We have a special treat for you today. Unfortunately, Mel is not going to be here today. He is traveling out of the country. However, we do have Joe Rosati and Scott Stone from TruthStream with us today, and they're going to be sitting in for Mel and joining Mike Barra and Laura Eisenhower and myself for some great discussions. Welcome, guys.
Thanks for having us, and thanks
to
Mel for inviting us to host for you. We're looking forward to it because we've interviewed Laura before, but this is the first time we're meeting Mike and Elisa, so it's great to be here. Anything you want to add to that?
Have you?
No, just thrilled to be here. Great to see you again, Laura. It's been too long.
Great to see you both. Oh, yes.
Yeah, great to meet you, Mike. And yeah,
you too.
We're all set, Lisa. It's fantastic.
Yeah. So I'm just to before we start, I'm looking in the comments, and we've got a hello from Romania and from the UK. So we are truly international now with our forecast. Yay.
Indeed.
Good.
Well,
awesome.
I know we have a bunch of clips that are ready to go for many different topics, but is there anything anyone wants to start with before we jump into any of the clips?
Oh, gee, I don't know. Is there anything going on right now? anything happening with the military and riots and anybody?
Not much.
LA and oh my God.
Summer of Love Part 2.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think maybe start with that.
Yeah, well, Mike, go ahead. What is there anything you want to? I mean, obviously, there's plenty of events going on in LA and probably coming soon to 13 other cities near you.
Yeah, I was just asking Joe to. We should reach out to our LA peeps and see what the actual reality is, because so often it differs from what's being reported.
Well,
pallets of bricks.
Right. Yeah. If you watch the coverage, there's a little cluster of 50 people. And then like 6 or 8 blocks away, there's a little cluster of 50 people. And the cops aren't doing anything. I mean, they could run in and scoop these people up and be done with it in 10 minutes, 15 minutes if they wanted to. And they're not doing anything about it. And so it is performance art. And, again, they found, I saw some pictures, I believe they're concurrent of, the stacked up bricks just sitting on the street. Somebody just dumps these stacks of bricks for people to use for the riots. It's all fake. It's all staged. It's and the thing about it that I think is really interesting, especially Laura energetically, is that they're going to try to portray this as some sort of public popular backlash against the evil Trump administration, and I don't think that that's flying. It feels like nobody's taking that seriously, and there's no sympathy for illegal aliens that are getting deported. So
deleted.
Yeah, that was a good Freudian slip. I like that.
Guys. I mean that. So everybody knows. So I don't think this is getting any traction to try to change public opinion on any of this stuff. Laura, what do you think about it? If you don't mind, energetically, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I think that the whole engineered events and this whatever psyops behind it isn't taking hold like it used to. And I agree with what you said about okay, so basically this protest is about the illegal immigrants.
Yeah, supposedly they're protests against ICE for the immigration. What does ICE stand for? I forget. Immigration. Yeah, I don't know. But it's a protest against ICE for conducting raids and deportations in LA.
Right. Well, I mean, this is a week of a lot of volatile energy. Mars, which is the planet of war and conflict when it's in its shadow expression, is squaring Uranus, which is all about shock. So destabilization and upheaval. It's definitely like an energy of what we're seeing there, of some sort of like protest, violence. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's part of the energetic forecast. Jupiter enters Cancer, it's square Saturn. So the control matrix, the inverted aspect of dark control groups, they're losing their grip. So Jupiter representing expansion and the sign of Cancer, when you think about like family or home, the authorities to Saturn with this square, it's like, okay, these immigrants want to make their home here in the United States. Saturn square is the authorities saying no. So there's the tension there. And then this Mars square Uranus, rebellion and upheaval. But these are all the inversions of what actually is happening with these aspects, which is inviting us to do something, on a much deeper level, which goes into a more, we can get into that later. But I have something kind of prepared that I'm not quite ready to express on this. But let's see.
You're certainly welcome to share it, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of this is to keep us hooked in, right? I mean, not that lives aren't being impacted, but there's nothing that is going on that you don't see in other countries. I mean, we need this kind of protection, and the fact that it's gotten as bad as it has is pretty insane. To enter a country legally, it's like, okay, so backlash. Biden's administration let so many criminals and so many people out to just be let loose on the public. So this chaos, it's like it creates so much distortion, so much panic and unrest in the people that are close to it and that are experiencing it. That but
yeah, I mean, it's all designed. This is all designed, and I wouldn't be surprised if the people doing this aren't the people that Biden let in the last 5 years or so. So, I mean, I think that they imported these people specifically. My partner on Real News Live with Mike and Jen Falah, she calls them the minions, of the left, and that they're all paid and they're recruited and they're just here to disrupt.
Yeah, and it's just a complete weaponization, and it's very much like sleeper agents and that are being activated, exactly. and this army of chaos and disruptors, chaos agents, to just make life difficult and weaponizing the human against this new emergence of a better structure for humanity that is showing up in this administration that wasn't last administration, of course.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then we've got Greta Thunberg, or Thunberg, however you want to pronounce it, being held captive by Israel. I think that's kind of hilarious, the way that's played out.
Yeah.
This kind of punctuates the madness in LA. They don't really have a cause. It's other than, mayhem.
Mm-hmm.
Big Gotham City,
Again, I think it's, to me, and Elisa, we haven't asked you yet what's going on, but again, I think this is designed to disrupt the financial transition that we're all hoping for, because they're going, we can't have we can't have this with all this chaos in the streets. How are people going to get to the bank and do their exchange? If you're thinking about the RV, and it's designed to just hold everything back. But this whole so there's the political aspects, the financial aspects, the political aspects of this. This isn't going to affect that at all. In fact, I think it's reinforcing the support for getting these people out of the country. But to me, it's like a rocket launch. There's a countdown, and unless something happens to disrupt the launch, it's going to go. We're at T-minus 30 seconds and counting, and they're like, okay, well, now we gotta block one of the liquid oxygen flow valves or something, or to stop this. Otherwise, this damn fucking rocket's going to go off and everything's going to change, and then we're dead. So that's what I feel like's going on. Elisa, I don't know. You're a New Yorker. What do you think about what's going on in LA? And would you New Yorkers just mow these people down?
Yeah, I think that, well, first of all, I agree with what everybody's saying. But again, when I view these things, I always see them kind of on a 5D chess basis. So what I'm sort of seeing is, is this another example of what we're saying, that it's being orchestrated by, to cause chaos? Yes. But is it also, again, one more scene in a movie that is trying to wake people up? I mean, Trump says he's going to send in the National Guard, right? And maybe he already did it. But then you have Newsom, right? Whoever that is, saying that, he's just escalating. So once again, we're putting these lunatics in the spotlight for people to realize, just how ridiculous they are. And so I'm of the opinion personally that the real Newsom is, somewhere else, and that this is being orchestrated to kind of let them know that this is the position and the opinions that these far left lunatics always take in going against Trump and any kind of law and order and any kind of common sense. So I'm not sure, honestly, if this is the way it was maybe 4 or 5 years ago, where these chaotic events are being caused by, the bad guys, so to speak, and they are putting the bricks there and because they really want something to happen, or, if this is just a part of the show that again is trying to wake people up. I mean, either way, I think it's operating on several levels, and I just don't see it. Like Mike said, I agree with you. I don't see it having any lasting effect or really standing in the way, but it's just another one of those sort of excuses of like why we're not getting there right now.
Yeah.
From a theater standpoint, it seems like everyone is ripe for a kind of a retelling of the Summer of Love. It would seem that a lot of the things that we all noticed is, in the truther community or whatever, I think that's becoming abundantly obvious to folks that have not fallen into that category. And on one of the flights back from Costa Rica, I sat next to a Frenchman who appeared to lean left, but he said France is done. He said Paris is ruined. It's not worth going back to. And, this was his home country. And he blamed, the unbridled immigration and so on. He said, it's just over. And I found that kind of interesting from a left-leaning Frenchman. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it feels to me like we are going to be the example for how you deal with this. We like, they used to say America leads the world. I don't think we've led them for a while since all this corruption really started, coming out, unbridled corruption. Like it used to be, they tried to hide it and pretend we were still this principled country. And we don't do that in the last 10 years, ever since Obama, I think, really, or maybe even Bush too. But we're in a situation now where we're going to have to lead the world. We're going to have to show them, okay, this is what you do. You simply round them all up and arrest them and send them back where they came from. And that's the only way France can be saved. And, Ireland sounds like it's coming up next with Conor McGregor. Believe me, if the election were held and it were honest, the guy'd probably win 90% of the vote over there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
agreed.
Well said. Well, should we play a couple of these clips that Elisa has picked out for us?
Sure.
Yeah.
Why not? Okay, so we're going to share the screen here. I got to figure out which one this is. There's quite a few here, so let me just bear with me for one moment here.
Julie Donuts.
Yeah, Julie Donuts.
Julie Donuts. He's always
share
fun.
screen. There's Julie Donuts. We'll start with her, and hopefully this just plays beautifully. Let's see.
Oh, no idea.
I couldn't come to make this video. Elon tweeting out that Trump is on the Epstein list. You think this enemy would have let Trump anywhere near that White House if he really was? That shit would have been released on day one. Now the left is going to be screaming to release the Epstein list, and the right. Everybody's going to be screaming to release it because he's not on it, and it's going to prove it. And then all of those disgusting scumbags are done. Genius 5D chess. That's what it means to enjoy the show. It's genius. Love it.
Okay, we'll go to the next one here. All right. Share this tab instead.
Script
60
keep.
seconds on your fireworks. All right, look. Time to drop the really big bomb. This is Elon Musk. Real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. Well, if that was the case, the Democrats would have put it out already, Elon. Oh, big fail there. Elon was wearing thin. I asked him to leave. I took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted. that he knew for months I was going to do, and he just went crazy. The easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it. See? But that's what I was trying to tell y'all. If you think about it, if that was the case, this part, Biden, and believe me, Biden, Kamala, Hillary, all of them, Obama, Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, all of those, AOC, they all been harping on this, but yet there's no pictures for it. Elon, man. Bro, you know what gave you away? This was one of the main settings that I had talked about, the Devil's Champion costume, the upside down cross, the Baphomet. We done spoke about. Then recently, the black eye. Did they slap you up, bro, and told you to go against Trump? I'm just wondering. And then the infamous Illuminati jacket. Oh, yeah, we remember that. But this is the headbanger boogie right here. They all connected to this. PayPal Mafia. Palantir. Surveillance of the American people and the world, but mostly the American people. Surveillance. You know, every time you're going to take a shit. And a quick breakdown. Okay, let me get this straight. The GOP are out there spending millions on luxury hotels in Ukraine, not voting on any Doge cuts, spending 60% of their time on vacation, not codifying executive orders, and they're not even bringing major reform to American people and what we voted for, right? At the end of the day, this is what it comes down to, ladies and gentlemen. Dad, why can't government do anything right? Well, Russ, people can't seem to figure out that both parties are really one organized group of evil, greedy bastards working for themselves and against the people. Until Donald Trump came around, then they all lost their fucking marbles. TDS a little? 60 seconds on your popcorn.
All right, Mike, I'd love to get your take on that to start with.
Well, yeah, it's fake. I mean, let's face reality. This is the fakest thing I've seen in a long time, this feud between Trump and Musk. And by the way, I wish I could share. Can I share a screen?
Sure, absolutely.
Let me go to my profile. I think what we're going to have here in the not too distant future is this. Let me get the screen share going. This is what we're about to see, guys. There we go. Can you guys put? Yeah, this is coming.
I put a big laugh on that one.
This is coming.
This one. This one's great.
Yeah. Because look, this is just as phony as can be, right? It doesn't, and it is a good way to get the Democrats to call for the release of the Epstein files. Now, they did that already. So what I don't get is, what are we waiting for? Was it because they knew these riots were coming? I mean, I find it interesting that Trump did not go to Mar-a-Lago or New Jersey this weekend. He went to Camp David, which is a command center, okay, this weekend, as if he knew that this stuff was coming. But that could possibly have delayed it. But once a prominent Democrat demanded the release of the Epstein files, if they had them, they should have released them. So I'm a little edgy. Laura, I don't know what you think about that, whether they're really going to release them or not. But I'm a little suspect that they didn't just immediately release them, because that's what I would have done, is put them out right away.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking at first. Get them to demand the release in order to expose Donald Trump. So it could be a feud,
right? And then you end up exposing, right? You end up exposing,
and then it'll have
the uniparty. Yeah, you expose the uniparty. But if that's the case, why didn't they? Why? I mean, I would, as soon as the first prominent Democrat called for the release, boom, they'd be out there. If that, if I was,
well, see, they're still, whether Trump's on it or not, they're not going to want it out there for all the other reasons of who is on there. And the thing is, some say that Trump was on the Epstein flights, but it was with Marla Maples and the kids. It had nothing to do with going to the island. It had nothing to do with what we know. Epstein,
in fact, from what I've seen of the records, it's one flight, and it was not on the Lolita Express where all the rape took place.
Right.
It was on another smaller private jet that Epstein owned and that his brother used, and it was on a weekend where Trump's plane needed maintenance and couldn't fly. So he was offered a ride home with Epstein's brother, and he and his wife and his kids got on the plane and went there once. So that's obviously not the same thing.
Right. But did you see how many people that have been against Trump? All of a sudden, it's like, I told you so. Yeah. So everybody's going to have to deal with the fact that the Trump that you thought was all about, your freedoms and holding.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, don't forget, in what was it, 2012, Donald Trump tweeted out the famous tweet, got to do something about the pedophiles or whatever he said, swift trial, immediate execution, no mercy. And he puts that out. And then he's the guy who brought up Epstein in the 2016 election when he did town halls with Fox, with Sean Hannity. So if he was guilty and if there was evidence against him, why would he have ever brought that up? It's right. Really ridiculous. And I think if the Epstein files are released, what you're going to find is that with Epstein's case in 2007, I believe it was 2005 to 2007, when he was, the FBI investigated him and recommended charges. And then Robert Mueller, the guy who ran the Russiagate Inquisition, changed it, basically change it into a slap on the wrist. You're going to find that Donald Trump, I believe, was an FBI informant against Epstein to build their case. That's what I think you're going to find.
100%. Because
get on with it. Again, get on with it. What are you waiting for? For the riots to subside?
It's amazing that Elon even posted the quote, though, of Trump saying he's a great guy, he likes younger women, and that's just a stupid thing to say about somebody
who doesn't. Yeah, excuse me. So do I. yeah. And I'm a guy. That's the way we're wired. And the reality is, look, the video at the party, every single one of those girls was an adult, and they looked to me like they were mostly in their mid-20s. Well, if you're a 48-year-old billionaire, that's how you find wife number 3, right? So come on.
Or baby mama number 16.
Yeah, or baby mama number 16.
What are you guys' thoughts?
It's such a great bit of theater here. I mean, we've got the unwitting outcry from the left now for the release of the Epstein files, like you just said. But I mean, this puts the entire thing into this area of contentiousness where, if you're part of the groupthink, you have to actually engage your own brain for a minute to process this. I think it's, and this is a call for Trump to defend himself in the Epstein situation. So it sort of liberates the conversation from being, an indictment on the elite and whatnot to, he's defending himself. He puts pressure on intelligence and the DOJ. And we have a more meaningful conversation about it. It's like Jason Q always talks about, we got to do everything twice. And it would seem sometimes 3 times. But in this case, I think everything's being brought around again, but it's both sides have a vested interest in getting to the bottom of it for very different reasons.
Why not just give them what they want? Why not just if that's the setup, then let's give them what they want. I don't know, guys. Elisa, maybe do you think maybe they're waiting until the riots are run their course and then they'll put it out as the next thing in the news cycle? I don't know.
I'm not really sure because it sounds like they are still, again, I hate to sound like a broken record, but it sounds like they're still trying to wake people up to all of this. And we're getting tired of it because we know what's going on. But I guess there are still people who just don't understand who the bad guys are in this whole thing, right? A lot of people are still against Trump. I mean, I live in New York. I hear it every day. I mean, you can't imagine what people believe and what they see and the news and the narrative that they still carry on about. So perhaps, there's, like we were saying, it's theater and we're waiting for things are supposed to go according to a certain agenda that we're following. It's like a big buildup. I feel like we're always in a buildup lately.
Right. Well, should we? I know we got about an hour and we're almost halfway there. Should we switch to some of the financial aspects that you brought up, Elisa?
Sure. Let's play some of them.
Or why not? You picked some great clips here, so I'm just going to pick this one here. Hopefully, this goes smoothly. All right, present. And let me make sure I know what this one is titled here. Always self-custody your crypto. This is huge. I watching this today, it was like, wow, that was a zinger.
Well, especially since we were traveling and we were joining every available Wi-Fi kind of indiscriminately.
Yes.
You know, kind of knowing the risk, but not knowing it was as easy as this.
Here we go. It's about 2 minutes, guys.
Number one way your crypto gets stolen, your life gets hacked, and your fucking XRP is gone forever. Ready? And then I'm going to tell you how to fix it. Let's just say you walk into Starbucks. Your device rings out. It says, join free Starbucks Wi-Fi. You're none the wiser. There's a kid sitting with a laptop, right? Sits there all morning doing this. They've created a Wi-Fi hotspot named Starbucks free Wi-Fi. You didn't know. You're none the wiser. You hooked into theirs instead of Starbucks, right? This is called the man-in-the-middle attack. It's the most common and the most effective. Everything you do then moving forward, everything, including two-factor authorizations, including texts, emails, photos, videos, they now have cloned your phone. They have everything that's in your phone, but nothing happens right then and there. Nothing happens till about 4 o'clock in the morning. When you wake up the next day, you wake up, check your Kraken account, check your Uphold account, check your Robinhood account, and they're fucking drained because the authorization app that you have on your phone was cloned both ways. So he can do an authorization on the app with the same MAC IP address because he cloned your phone, and all of your fucking shit is gone. That is the number one way your crypto gets stolen. That is the number way to lose your XRP and your life to get hacked. How do you fix it? Very simple. Turn your fucking Wi-Fi off as soon as you leave your house. And speaking of your house, change your default fucking password on your router. That shit all comes from China. This is the downfall. I love you.
Wow.
So important to consider. I mean, it really, really is.
Exactly. This one is, I know we're not.
Yeah, I want to mention also,
go
like, you know, if you guys aren't familiar with the Flipper device, it's one of many devices that are defeat just about any security we've ever had. I was a big fan of a show called Person of Interest, where it was kind of silly that there was all of this, you know, surveillance that they could access every camera everywhere, and it didn't make a lot of sense. And I remember thinking, well, all those cameras would have to be connected to the internet for that to work. And now they all are. Like, you know, you look at all the home security systems, they're all part of a Wi-Fi network. And I mean, there are plenty of examples of this online. You take this Flipper device, you scan the network, you access the network, and now you're in. You can control all the Wi-Fi connected devices, which is just about freaking everything. But it's not just that. They can scan the RFID signal or the infrared signal for your garage door. You know, a lot of you know, door locks now work that way.
Right.
It's super, super easy if you have a Wi-Fi connected device to defeat it. So something to be mindful of.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, that video is exactly why I have all my crypto on a Ledger Nano S wallet. Link in the description. I'm just kidding. It's not in this description. But yeah, I have everything on a hardware wallet, which is unplugged and sitting in somewhere in my house that you'll never find. So, yeah. And, you know, it is a good thing to keep in mind, and to not keep crypto on your phone. And I can't tell you how many folks I know that have fallen for oh, well, you know, if you just give me $100 or $300, I'll put your crypto in a secure place. You can't do anything about that. If people don't understand, it's called a wallet. Okay. Are you going to let somebody go through your wallet without your, you know, no, you're not going to open up your wallet to a stranger, and then the fake clone Telegram accounts like, Mike, did you come in and ask me, you know, did you come in and ask me for my crypto passwords? I'm like, no, I don't do that. So you can't do anything about people that aren't smart about this. So
And I think there's a good time to let everyone know that I don't think anyone that we know that's a host reaches out and lets people know to, contact us about crypto. That's all a false.
Didn't you download a digital condom for your digital wallet?
Did I download?
Yes, I guess I did.
Yeah, the funny thing about the Ledger, and a lot of people feel really comfortable with the
Wow.
Ledger, and I don't know where you bought your Ledger, but if you buy it from a third party, there is often a backdoor built right into some of these hardware wallets. So be aware of that as well.
No, I did not buy it from a third party, nor
I figured
would
you did.
buy it from a third
Yeah,
party.
we wouldn't think Mike would.
Well, but
Yeah.
Amazon shoppers are likely to purchase one that may have made a few stops on its way to the end consumer. So something to think about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Indeed. I'll roll this other clip here. Every idiot knows get 10,000 XRP or, well, we'll play this and wait until your portfolio sits 2.5 million and then do this. So this is the point that he's trying to make here. So I'm going to share this screen. All right, I gotta find the one that says every idiot. There's the every idiot. Okay, here we go.
He's pessimist. 2.5 million.
$2.5 million. Any asshole in the world knows what to do. You get a house with a 25-year roof, an indestructible Jap economy shitbox. You put the rest into the system of 3 to 5 months, pay your taxes, and that's your base. Get me? That's your fortress of fucking solitude. That puts you for the rest of your life at a level of fuck you. Somebody wants you to do something, fuck you. Boss pisses you off, fuck you. Own your house, have a couple bucks in the bank, don't drink. That's all I have to say to anybody at any social level. Did your grandfather take risks? Yes. I guarantee he did it from a position of fuck you. A wise man's life is based around fuck you. The United States of America is based on fuck you. You're a king. You have an army. Greatest navy in the history of the world? Fuck you, blow me. Fuck it up ourselves.
I could actually have seen Mel in place of that.
Of John Goodman there, yeah, me too. Yeah, I could see Mel. The Mel Carmine experience, as I like to refer to it. Yeah, not Mel. No, he's not Mel. He's the Mel Carmine experience. Yeah, well, that's true. But the big issue is always getting that first $1 million, right? That's where you have the difficulty.
Indeed. And I think many of us, we're excited to be part of Mel's, the documentary that's coming up, Dear Mr. President, and the 45-second, we'll probably do a 1.5-minute clip since there's two of us.
Since there's two of you, yeah.
Yeah, what an exciting thing that Mel's putting together. I just,
Yeah, that intro was definitely got my attention. That was powerful.
Yeah. Has he, I don't know if we're spilling any beans here. Has he played that yet on his show, or is that upcoming?
No,
not yet.
Yeah, we played a trailer. I believe he's got a trailer ready. I think we played that. Yeah.
I don't think he put it live yet.
Okay.
On here, yeah. I mean, we've all seen it kind of privately.
Yeah.
But he's not. I'm not sure what his plan is for when he's putting it up. It hasn't yet been made public.
Okay. Well, we're building a little anticipation for you, Mel. So we're excited to be part.
Yeah.
I know that there's something about the XRP and the price.
I think there's a few of those videos.
Yeah, and one of them is 4 minutes. I just know we don't have too much time, but this let's see here. That one's 2. This one. Okay. Well, that one's really good. Should we play the one you picked out? It's about a little over 3 minutes. I think why not? It's really well done. So okay, here it is, this guy. And this is called A Logical Explanation. I gotta
hold on. This is a hell of a comment.
Oh, go ahead.
Oops, where did it go? Well, probably because they have spoken the least. Ladies, you need to speak up a bit.
Adult. Oh my goodness.
Oh gosh.
Me an adult. I feel like I'm 12 years old.
Right.
I'm about 11 myself. Yeah.
Oh geez. Here we go. A logical explanation. This is a great, this looks great as well. So here we go.
Questions I get asked is
she play it?
Yeah.
Loud enough?
Turn her up.
Okay.
I get asked is if XRP, HBAR, or Algo are for real-world payments. Why would institutions use them if the token gets expensive? Let's break it down, because this is where most people are stuck thinking like retail, while institutions are playing a different game. First of all, banks don't buy crypto like we do. They're not jumping on Coinbase and trying to time the bottom. They move value. They move their time. Treasury capital, central providers. They're not looking for cheap. They're looking for performance. Second, they're already wasting $200 to $250 billion a year on outdated systems, SWIFT fees, pre-funded accounts, fraud, compliance overhead, manual reconciliation, FX delays. If blockchain tech can eliminate even half of that, they'll use it, regardless of the price per token. Now, here's a light bulb moment. Most people miss it. It's not about how much the token costs. It's about how much it can move. If XRP is $1, you need 10 million tokens to settle 10 million. If it costs $100, you only need 100,000 tokens. The fewer the tokens, the less the friction, the less sourcing, the less risk. A higher price actually makes the system more efficient. It's not hype, it's just math. And no, institutions aren't scared of a $100 token. They're scared of something else. They're scared of friction from outdated rails, legacy bottlenecks, and too many middlemen. They're scared of failure, wires getting lost, flagged, reversed, or solved for days. They're scared of delays because when the money is stuck, they lose liquidity access and risk exposure. What causes that? Swift waiting periods, currency conversations, compliance bottlenecks, mismatched data, pre-funded accounts, and all a bunch of third parties taking their cuts. Let me help make it click. XRP is the pipe, not the water. If you need to move 10 million and XRP is only worth $1, you're jamming 10 million tokens through a narrow pipe. That creates pressure, slippage, and inefficiency. But if XRP is worth $100, that pipe gets wider. You only need 100,000 tokens. The flow is smoother, faster, and more controlled. The system works better because the pipe fits the pressure. That's why XRP has to be expensive, not to moon, but to function as the backbone of a global financial system. So when people say, why would a bank use a token that's expensive? Here's the answer. Because expensive tokens do the heavy lifting and the old system can't carry the weight anymore. And let me give you some perspective. There are 8 billion people in the world, but less than 5 million people hold XRP. Even fewer hold XDC, Algo, HBAR, or Quant. Institutions aren't scared of retail. We don't have enough power to stop anything. They know that once regulation hits, retail access will shrink, liquidity will be locked behind compliance, and they flip the switch, and they're ready, not us. And let me put this into perspective. Even if some of us hit big, 88% of lottery winners go broke within 5 years. Why? Because they weren't building wealth. They were buying Lambos, not legacies. The system doesn't fear us. It knows money will circle right back to them unless you understand the game and how it's really played. So if you're early, protect your position, build slow, think big, because generational wealth isn't about hype. It's about timing, position, and discipline.
I think you're muted.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we had a plane flyover. So, Mike, did you care to jump in on that topic? I'm sure you're pretty used to it.
No, it's a bunch of technical jargon about crypto. No, I don't have anything to say about it. It's like I don't care. Just when is it going to go up, and how can I sell it? So I'm sorry, I don't. I'm sorry, I really don't.
Oh, that's honest.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah.
Great answer.
You want to sell XRP. Not
I
when
mean,
you can lease it.
Well, Okay, so what I hear, I will offer this. What I understand is that they're going to allow XRP when it goes to the moon to go to a certain level, and then they're going to declare it a national asset and take it all and buy it from people. And I'm not that because it's going to be critical to the new QFS infrastructure. And I've heard two different numbers. When it gets to 100,000, they're going to buy everybody out, or when it gets to 1 million, they're going to buy everybody out because the government does believe as part of the new, financial structure with the QFS, that it is going to go that high. It is going to be like an invaluable resource, which like the government wants to be in charge of. So that's what I have to offer about XRP itself.
And the public was really, I mean, from what I've heard, never really supposed to have access to it. So it's kind of a gift to know about it in advance, right? I mean,
we were not supposed to know that it would be the gold-backed infrastructure for the new instantaneous financial transactions in the new system if they ever implement that one. So we're waiting for it. So yeah, that's what
I know you're chomping at the bit there with a reply.
No, actually, I agree with everything that Mike is saying. I wanted to say that I agreed with what his comments were.
Excellent. Laura, what do you think?
Yeah, well, this is more aligned with what's actually happening in this like shift or bifurcation, this inverted parasitic system, Babylonian money magic, interplanetary corporate conglomerate, military industrial complex, all the pillars of society that have been infiltrated and exploiting humans, siphoning, harvesting, and keeping us in a currency like loop. We're moving into the gold and silver within ourselves, of the masculine and feminine, the golden gateway and the silver that relates to a lot that's happening astrologically with Ophiuchus and Orion being exactly opposite each other, with them coming back online, which activates aspects of our DNA. So we're moving through these frequency fences and gateways that are manifesting on a grounded level of a total shift in currency. So it just makes a whole lot of sense that we would see it on that level, because, that whole as above, so below, when something shifts in the energetic field, the physical catches up. This is what I feel is unfolding because of, that shift, and the control grid is completely collapsing. And at this point, there's nothing they can really do. And that's why, like what we started talking about, a lot of this, sort of disruption, I feel is a lot of last ditch efforts that we're going to see. And even what might be activated in individuals that try and stop it are going to lose their capacity to override what's already been overridden, because it was installed in the planetary grid network that a return was going to happen. This is why this is known as an ascension planet. So the world of currency is reflective of this shift.
What a delightfully feminine, and balanced answer. I wasn't expecting.
How'd you get that out? All that out of that crypto thing? That's wow.
Yeah, I mean, are we kind of? I mean, does that mean we're sort of in opposition to all these structures, or do you think that XRP has a future in our future?
Well, it's as the kind of vampiric control grid collapses, it's bridging into one that is sustainable for our sovereignty. I mean, it just supports our movement forward, where we're not in this constant like trauma loop based in psyops and trigger events that keep us dependent and keep supplying, these corporations our money and our sweat and our labor in exchange for more theater and more facades and more trauma and corruption. So I just feel like there's this bridge that we're walking the inversion back into like correction.
Well said. We had the chance to meet Laura 4 years ago down at Mount Shasta. Are you doing the same thing as Trump is with time travel? Because you look like you're aging backwards.
You're sweet.
Yeah, you got a point. Joe.
Doesn't she?
Yeah, Laura, you look great.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. Wow. Oh my gosh. I wish the mirror would say
time
the
to
same.
start the OnlyFans, Laura.
Oh, wow. I think with time travel, I mean, in our consciousness, like I'll go back to some really, really, difficult times in my life, or even in past lives, or I'll just find myself drifting, and I'll just pour like love or a different way it could have played out, but I'll anchor it in, and then I just sort of notice something lighter in me. So I kind of feel like I time travel a little bit in that way, but I'm definitely not sitting on any kind of technologies. The garage is just filled with tools, but yeah.
Well, great answer. And I bet, our friend Carol Friesen is watching, and we got to stay with her at Heaven and Earth Sanctuary down in Costa Rica. And
it's amazing.
Yeah. And I heard that sometimes when you're not here, she fills in on the show. So you're very aligned with how she would answer these questions, I would say. So
Yeah.
it's nice to have that aspect. So
Nice.
Yeah, and you got a cool dragon with you too. That's I like.
No, that's my green screen, right? It's like, let's give it the full.
Yeah, I dig that.
Awesome. Well, I know we got roughly, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes left. Should we go into some of these other clips? I know there's some other topics that you had pulled up, Alicia.
Yeah, why not? Let's do that.
Okay. So there is, let's see, there's independent people can't be controlled. Chilling words about what it takes to become famous. Yeah, I mean, we could switch into some of these. One of these.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? So, okay, so let me, now that I know what I'm looking for with all these X posts up here, let me grab that one.
I tried to send them to you so that they were, by different category.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Together.
No, that's great. It's kind of nice to skip around here. Okay, here we go.
I sold my soul to the devil. I know it's a crappy deal. Lisa came with a few toys like a Happy Meal.
What was going on in my life at 15, and that's how I got introduced to the music industry. I swear I wanted to be like the Amy Grant of music. Yeah. But it didn't work out, and so I sold my soul to the devil.
Well, needless to say, sold my soul. Sometimes they don't want to, and they're, Gaga, we can't get, the frequency's weird, and, it's sounding a little bit strange. And I'm like, if you don't get this right now, I swear to Lucifer, I'm gonna, I get a little bit mad.
Why is your hand over your eyes?
Because I'm a devil worshiper. What are you talking about?
All right, well, I have tickets to see the devil worshiper.
The whole idea of celebrity and fame has become really convoluted and, kind of bastardized, like whereas fame used to be the byproduct of success, and now it's the ultimate goal. And if your ultimate goal is to be famous, then you're gonna do a lot to get there. Like sign your name in blood in a contract with the devil. Like you're gonna end up on a one-way street and it's going nowhere. Like that's just the truth. I've seen so many people like forsake their moral code and their value systems just for a little bit of fame, and it's not worth it at the end of the day. It's really not worth it.
Why do you still do it? Why are you still out here?
Well, it goes back to the destiny thing. I made a bargain with it, a long time ago, and I'm holding up my hand.
What was your bargain?
To get where I am now.
Should I ask who you made the bargain with?
with the chief commander.
On this earth?
And this earth, and then in the world we can't see.
Yeah, that clip, my brother, he's not the most awake, I will say, but he talked about that clip and he's like, well, how do you know he's talking about making the deal with the dark side? I'm like, well, the other side doesn't make deals like that. So, has it been hard for you guys, and whoever wants to jump in, to really enjoy movies and music and things like that, in this waking up process?
Well, I was
Laura?
thinking instead of saying PG, pedophile free, like PF,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like, because when I see a movie, I can't see it because of that actor or actress. And I'm not really into movies as much anymore anyway. I'm more into like docuseries and crime and just trying to understand like how bad things have actually gotten to. Yeah, it's pretty bad. But yeah, with movies, it's really, really hard. And there's a few that I know that haven't been impacted, that don't hold that energy signature, that I like for reasons other than them being actors because of other work that they do. And I'm like, oh yeah, I remember her from this movie. And but yeah, the ones some visit me in my dreams. Like I had a dream about Tom Cruise and he was trying to explain, the adrenochrome, the Scientology and everything that was going on. And it was like really, really intense and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, I just want to say I definitely there's some things I absolutely will not watch because of the people that are in it. And I have to, I kind of vet it too a little bit. And then if I do watch it, cause I'm on a plane or I just want to watch something. I'm just like, don't want to think about my life right now. I'll like bless it. Like or I'll watch to observe, to see the symbolism and to see, what's going on. Like, what are they doing? What are they pushing on people? What is the programming here?
Right. Like everything is so many layers. Like, we've talked about this on Truth Stream, just either, reading the room, trying to figure out what kind of conversation you have, how far down the rabbit hole do you want to go with it? Is it worth even bringing up? Elisa, do you have anything you want to say?
I've always loved movies. I was actually a film major. So, it was a very, very, eye-opening thing when I started really getting into all this and realizing what was going on. And so I guess what frustrates me more, because like Laura, I watch it and then I try to discern what's the message, what are they saying, et cetera, et cetera. And there are certain actors and actresses that I just can't watch. I guess I get more frustrated by people who are not awake and who have so many great, like are still fans of a lot of people and, follow the narrative that's put out about them and, trying to relate to them as, just like you and I. And so, depending on who I'm with, am I telling them what I know and what I've sort of, realized about all of this? Or do I just, sit there and nod because they're not going to get it? So that's the frustrating part for me.
Right.
Yeah. And like, I used to really be a great fan of Ben Stiller, and damn, I can't even watch his films anymore. De Niro, same thing. I mean, there's so many.
Is a big one.
Oh, I know. I mean, Elisa, are you Italian?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah, I kind of had a feeling. Joe and I are both Italian.
Yeah.
And De Niro, I had the impression down the whole bit. He just disgusts me so much. Pacino kept his mouth shut. I was impressed with that.
Who did?
Al Pacino.
Oh, but Johnny Depp, a lot of people were like Team Johnny. There's so much that has been exposed lately. Bob Marley's daughter, just other people. He's dark. Not saying that Amber's like, but what about you, Mike?
I don't watch anything anymore because I know exactly what it's going to be. The white male character from the book is going to be a black woman who's bald or has a fade. And she's going to be the hero, and the white males aren't going to have anything to do with it, and it's predictable and ridiculous. I mean, there's a series called Foundation, which Apple TV has. It's a classic Isaac Asimov science fiction novel series, 3 books. Covers the history of this galactic empire over thousands of years, and they changed a lot of things. It's very imaginative, but they turned a bunch of white male characters into black women. There have been at least 7 major characters that are black women for no fucking reason whatsoever, many of whom were not even in the books. And they're all these shaved headed. They're hideous to look at. They're not even attractive black women, and there was one scene where they bring this girl to the emperor, right? For, him to have a little fun, a little imperial fun. And she was white, I think, Italian maybe, but she looked like a Simpsons character. Oh, and wow. I mean, she was so ugly. I was like, is this a joke? Is the emperor now going to execute somebody because they sent him this ugly girl to have sex with? No, it was serious. And what is going on there is that the producers are saying, oh, well, if we have a really pretty young white girl play this part and maybe even, be topless or something, men will like that. And therefore we will not do that because that's what men like. So that is the mentality that is going on in Hollywood. So I don't watch anything new. All I watch is old stuff because I mean, up to Game of Thrones, and I'm going to skip the last season of that because that's when the wokeism in 2018 really got bad. Go watch Spartacus from Starz, okay, which was a 4-year series that they did about 50 episodes. And you watch that show and the honesty of it, the how the men and the women relate to each other. It's based on ancient Rome, but everything there is like real. This is the way men and women really act. And we still act that way in real life. So this is all about, like Laura says, social programming to try to suppress masculinity and the accomplishments of white people and replace them with really unattractive people, and even trying to convince men that they should be attracted to unattractive women. That's what they're trying to do. And
women with a penis.
We do a whole show on this, on the cultural aspects of Hollywood, and I think Gary Neurotic does a version, a better analysis of that. Well, why do I want to watch something with simpy men, women being physically stronger than men who are 4 times their size, which is ridiculous.
Right.
And I mean, again, I'm not going to see any attractive women. And if I do, I'm not going to see their boobs. They've replaced boobs in movies with vomiting because now they show vomiting like since 27 constantly. And I'm like, well, okay, I never see any boobs anymore, but I see puking all the time. Sorry, it doesn't turn me on. So this is a war, I believe. Sorry, you got me on a rant, but this is a war against what men like. And that's what made Hollywood. That's what Hollywood used to be. Is the primary audience for everything is men. So I don't. I mean, how many Black women do you think have read Isaac Asimov's novels and are watching Foundation on Apple TV? Not very many. So it's gotten ridiculous. And the reality is, I just stopped watching stuff because it's so predictable. And I can't get into it. And it's all preachy and it's all designed. I mean, there's even the whole transsexual thing, which is being pushed constantly now.
Right.
And it's like, no, I'm sorry. I'm not interested in a science fiction film about a gay admiral. Okay. I'm not. I can't relate to that as a heterosexual man, which I'm sorry to say is the majority. The majority of us men and women are heterosexual.
Well, every
love story. I want to see a love story between a handsome man and an attractive woman. Pretty much.
Right.
And I don't get that anymore. So I've just completely given up on watching anything because I know it's
understandable. And we're all born from a man and a woman. So there's that. Well, I did notice that you're wearing a shirt with a band that's incredible, The Police. Now, wasn't it Stuart Copeland's father that was part of the CIA?
I think so.
I
yeah.
think so. Has any of that had an effect on the music that you might listen to? Obviously, we know really much specifically how you feel about film. So
yeah, you just got that film and television. Well, I mean, no music. I don't listen to rap and hip hop. I feel like again, it's social programming. It's trying to make things that were uncool cool. It's trying to make stuff that is dark and overtly sexual. Rather than romantic, it's sexual. Love songs. Sting wrote "Every Breath You Take," which is a bit possessive, but is one of the great love ballads ever written about his obsession over a woman. And now it's not about that. It's all about no, don't fall in love. Don't have romantic feelings for the other person. Just have sex with them. And that's what's being pushed. And no, I don't want to listen to that. That's a degenerate agenda that I don't want to be a part of. So when it comes to modern music, I do have some newer bands I like, but they're all old school in terms of how they approach the subject matter, the lyrical subject matter, and in the way they produce the music. I just, I went to see a guy named Gareth Emery, who is a DJ, whatever a DJ is, from England. And because there was this one really wonderful love song that they wrote, was very spacey and very 80s and etheric. And I go there, at this concert, and 90% of it is just funk, 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 funk. I'm like, that's music, really? There's no tune, there's no flow. So, and we all know, of course, that they've programmed music at the wrong frequency to agitate us, Laura, rather than soothe us. And I'm just not, homie ain't gonna play that game.
Well, I like your Police t-shirt. That was one of my first concerts.
I didn't see him until 2007. Thank God. I just never got around to it in the 80s. And then they broke up and I'm like, shit, I'm never going to see him. And then thankfully they got together.
I saw them in 2007 too. It was a great show.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
They hate each other though. God, do they hate each other.
Oh, right?
Oh, that's funny.
Oh my
okay.
God.
So you guys, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, Mike said that he has a couple maybe suggestions of bands that are kind of doing it the old school. Can you throw 2 or 3 bands out at us? Just
me
as suggestions.
Oh, well, I like Kings of Leon still. They still
they're great.
Music. U2 is very melodic, but Bono is off the deep end. And look, nobody who hates Donald Trump as much as Bono does is clean. There's something that he's hiding. So that I know once it comes out, I'm not going to be able to listen to their music ever again. So I'm going to have to love it now while it's around. But there's a guy who's also very libtardish, Coil Girelli, who had 2 bands, one called Your Vegas and one called The Chevin, who produced some amazing sort of killers kind of music in the from the 2007 to 2018 time frame, and you know he's really great. And no, other than that, yeah, it's nostalgia for me. I listen to the older bands. So those are 2 that I really like and would recommend.
Definitely.
Sure.
I can never get sick of Led Zeppelin. But
Right.
Sound Tribe Sector 9 is like my go-to, like just and Adrian Blue from King Crimson, the 80s Adrian Blue, King Crimson, and the branch off of like Stickman and the Crimson Trio. Oh my gosh. Adrian Blue is freaking genius guitar.
Yeah.
Those are my guys right now in Sound Tribe Sector 9.
What about you, Elisa? I know you're a big Foghat fan.
Yeah. No, I mean, I like old school 70s, you know, rock and
Any
roll.
love songs?
Foghat.
Any love songs?
No, the
Nothing
70s love songs are the best, but keep going. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not really I'm not really up to date with a lot of the current bands, to be honest with you. I know even my daughter is much more into, you know, old music and old rock and roll than some of the more modern stuff.
Yeah, you know, if I was raising kids, there would be no rap or hip hop around the house. They would only, I would be checking their phones. The only stuff they'd be allowed to download would be old school rock, basically.
My
And
son
pop.
found some incredible music. I'm really blown away. Like the playlist that my son plays when I'm driving around with him, it's like Celtic. It's like bands that you can't really find, but it's like rock too. It's sort of like Hawkwind meets like some ancient, I don't know, Oracle druid before they turned evil thing.
Yeah.
Well, Crowley had his way with a lot of the old sounds, Led Zeppelin included, which I'm with
I
you, Laura.
know.
I love Led Zeppelin, but
The Robert
yeah,
Plant.
you got to know what you get into with that stuff.
Oh,
And-
Well, every 3 years, I take Led Zeppelin out of the closet and I binge them for like a month, and then they go back.
Kind
of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the thing about Robert Plant, like he's always in my dreams. Like since I was young, because I grew up on Led Zeppelin and Jethro Tull, because I lived in England and my uncle had a huge vinyl collection that I took over. And yeah, I don't even want to get into my weird Led Zeppelin thing, so we don't have to go there.
Well, God, I got forced into a lot of more folky stuff and even some country stuff that I was not predisposed to by any stretch, but lyrically and as far as like honesty in the music and so on, none of the pop crap or anything, but you know, there's some great stuff out there. And
It really is.
Yeah.
I like 80s
You know-
pop. If there was going to be pop, like 80s.
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
80s stuff, but
Oh yeah, even Flock of Seagulls had some great.
I
tunes.
know, like
and
freaking
Joe
Depeche
patted his
Mode.
hair after that
I
band.
love
for a
Depeche Mode. What was that?
Joe patted his hair after that band after a while. He was a big fan.
Yeah, Depeche
Yeah.
Mode. Depressed
No,
mood.
I'm
is what I
talking
would
about
call
a flock
it.
of seagulls.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
it literally looked like an entire flock of seagulls. Yeah.
Oh, hey, guys, we should just like have a party. Like you're getting me all like, let's play some tunes.
Well, you know, after the RV thing kicks in, Laura, we're having a big one here in Vegas. You're definitely invited.
Oh, you are in Vegas. Nice.
Yeah, I am in Las Vegas. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I
we
mean,
have
the
a
last,
friend in Vegas as well.
Who's
the last
also in the
concert I went
audience.
to.
Yes.
Yeah. Hi, Vegas.
Yeah. Last concert I went to was Rod Stewart. You know, I'd never seen, and I'm like, I got to see this guy before he dies. So I did find,
or at least his
Wow,
clone.
was it good?
What's that, Laura?
Was it good?
It was good. You know, his voice is not as what it used to be, but it used to be the best rock voice ever until he sold out and went disco. But, you know,
Right.
I mean, he used to have the greatest rock voice. I mean, it was very universally recognized. He was the best singer in rock and roll. And he still can get there a little bit, but not as often as he used to. You know, it was interesting at that concert, too, politically, because he made some crack about the White House because he was like, gay people are not popular in the White House. And there was like, the audience was just like, like he thought everybody was going to go, yeah. And then we all went, there was like, no, which is ridiculous. He appointed Richard Grenell, the first gay cabinet level appointee in world history. He's always hired gay people in his businesses. So, again, it's just another one of these tropes and memes of the left that actually have no basis in reality.
They're amplifying something that doesn't need to be amplified and fighting for something they don't need to fight for. There's nothing wrong with being gay, but the over emphasis on it, and the indoctrination in the schools and just what we've seen with the gender confusion, that's where it's like so out of control. Otherwise it's like, you can announce you're gay. Am I going to announce, my sex? Not me. I'm just talking about like the people. Like, why do we even need to really know? What does your sexual preference have to do with
exactly? Why is it anybody's business?
Right.
Yeah.
Enjoy your love and have a good time.
Yeah, it's a private life for a
here.
reason.
Mhm.
Mel,
They call it-
what's up?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
Are you in Panama, my friend?
Yeah, I was busy buying ivermectin and prostate drugs and all kinds of shit that you can't get in the States for a good friend of mine. And so I said, shit, they're already live. And I tune in, and it turned out to be the Mike Barra sexual show.
Look, I don't bring up the subjects. Everybody else does. They ask me, and I
I
tell
said, how
them.
do we get to the the quantum financial system to sex?
Well,
That's pretty
Lauren
sexy,
here.
arguably.
You got a lot of sex on your mind, dude.
Oh,
Yeah.
XRP is pretty sexy.
Yeah, XRP is sexy.
well, this is now
Oh,
called
yeah.
Sex RP.
Sex RP. There you go. So what's going on, guys? How's we have a nice crowd?
I
think so.
We
There's
just hit the
300 so on X. We've got some of our regulars watching from our show. I think we have I haven't looked at Rumble because I have all these amazing X posts that Elisa sent me a couple days ago, and it's just been great to have everything to pull from. I couldn't show them all because
Oh my God, we'd be here for listen. I must have sent her like 9 or 10 videos about 2:00 in the morning yesterday, and I think we would have been here for like 5 hours if we
Exactly.
worked the show easily. But this content is so amazing. I was like, it's off the charts. And I know that people out there are so busy they don't have time to go looking for all these videos. So we make it nice and convenient. We're like sort of like the 7-Eleven of podcasting. We make it convenience for you.
there you go. Yeah. I'll be putting all the links that Elisa sent us in underneath our Rumble and X. I'll just put them all in one big post for people to check them out if they want to.
Yeah.
How exciting is it to have Mel Carmine as a guest when we're guest hosting the Mel Carmine show?
Exactly.
That's kind of fun. Well, thanks for joining us, Mel. Are you in Panama or?
I'm in Panama City. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mel Carmine Experience is here.
Yeah, you're over here with some. I'm not allowed to mention the name of the company, and we're not allowed to advertise it. This is like old school shit, strictly by invitation only. It's a robot that has never made a losing bet on sports on soccer games. There's like 30 games a day on average, and it's just a money maker. I like making money, and so they got me, they suckered me in again.
Did you bring the carpet with you? Because that's very Mel behind you.
No, that's the couch. That's the couch. Shit.
Is that the couch?
Yeah, that.
It is the couch. I see it. That's sharp.
Take a photo of that for when you want to change up the Tiffany blue on your throne.
Yeah, that is sharp.
Yeah. No, that looks really
it's
nice.
a high-end hotel.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, Mel, I mean, you're here. I don't know. Mike said he had an hour or so. Wherever you guys want to take it, now you're here.
Did you guys talk about anything about quantum financial system, about the XRP?
Yeah, we
Yes?
jumped into
Good.
that.
A little bit.
Good.
Absolutely.
Awesome. And just like I always say, it's a waiting game. It's going to happen when you least expect it. Just stay focused on other shit and just keep accumulating until they say, "Hey, come on in."
Yep.
Silver's up. Look at that. Thanks, Carol.
Yeah, guys, I gotta go. Mel, why don't you take over?
Yeah, it's up to you guys. I mean, I just got here. You want to do another hour? We can go for another hour. We'll show some more the other slides. We'll do a part two.
My God,
I actually have to go too. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no worries,
no,
man.
we can stay on for a little bit. We have a call at 3, but yeah, let's stay on for another 15 minutes and shoot the shit.
Sure. It's been a while, guys. Yeah, I mean,
Thank you, ladies.
all
You're
right,
welcome to
ladies.
hang out or whatever you want to do.
Oh, I
Bye.
wish. Yeah, I gotta go
Laura,
pick
you
somebody up
gotta-
at the airport.
We'll see you next time. Thank you so much, guys.
Laura, you got to
And
join us
Mel,
soon for an interview.
Yeah, it's so good to see you both. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
missed you. Great to
Yeah,
see
me
you again.
too. Yeah, totally. Okay, bye.
So bye bye. Hey,
Thanks for the
did you
program
guys
today.
did you guys by any chance get a chance to shoot a video to send to Carol Maureen for the
No, we're doing that
documentary?
today. We're doing
Okay,
that today.
good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, we got some really good footage of a lot of great podcasters coming in now because people are starting to understand that this becomes front and center. This is the most important aspect of the war, as far as I'm concerned. Simply because if the microphones are frozen, right, you could yell and scream until you're blue in the face and your eyes could pop out of your skull. You think someone else is in charge of the microphone, and they choose who gets to see content, who doesn't get to see content. Right? Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, from our perspective, it absolutely makes sense. We've been
So
horribly
let's
shut up.
fix.
I'm glad you're bringing
Yeah.
us right. Yeah,
Yeah, so we got to fix that first. Then we could tackle everything else.
right.
Yeah, we heard
Right?
Louis Worms has made an amazing contribution to the documentary, and we haven't seen it yet, of course.
Yeah,
We're very
yeah, he
excited
really
to see that.
did. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
he's been hit hard, and
And the fact that he's been censored probably more than all of us combined, and now that he's also made an announcement in the documentary that he's running for governor of California, that's huge.
right.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
makes me want to move to California. Actually,
Yeah, well,
That's
California happens to be the prettiest state in the union. That's a fact.
pretty close. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
Washington's a
gorgeous.
close second, and they're the most liberal, screwed up states in the union.
Yeah. Well, if you like subtropical weather, California, I think is unbeatable. A second close for me, for my taste, would be Hawaii. Washington State, if you like, the wilderness and hiking and, hanging out in the woods with your dog and go hunting and all that kind of shit, I think that's probably a good state for that. You know what
Canada's kind of a nice part of the country.
I mean? Yeah.
A lot of pretty territory in the 51st state.
No question.
Yeah.
No question.
A little
So
cold.
how has the Truth Stream been doing? Are you guys literally stuck at like 32,000 or 33,000?
I think we're at 40.
45,
I don't.
like that.
We'll look. We'll look. I can see it right
we
now.
grew a
Okay.
bit, but our per show views are down again, and it's sort of funny because sometimes we'll have more likes than we do views, like
Right.
considerably more, or there's
Well,
just a
here-
lot of disparity there.
Yeah. Here's the problem with Rumble. When you actually apply to become, you want an account, you could either have an account or you could have a channel. You can have one, right? You and I probably have what's called an account, right? I have an account. I don't have a channel.
Yeah, we have a
and you know-
channel. We did. We had to make a channel because I had a different channel.
So I got to go back in and make a channel because I have an account and I grew that to 30,000 people, right?
Oh. Yeah, Gene
So-
Nico did the same thing.
Yeah, so I have to go back. So I sent them an email saying, is there like a button that you guys can create? Like, you guys got some programmers sitting around there probably doing nothing. So why don't you create a program where I could just import all my, followers into my new account? No, we don't have that. I said, well, have them develop it, nitwit.
I love how direct you and now that we've met Mike are. Like, it's just right to the point.
Yeah, Mike's cool, man. We got a good thing going on with the show. It's catching on. I think we're probably a couple of months away from doing, having 2,000-3,000 people watching this live, and we'll see where it goes from there. But people are actually enjoying the show. They're enjoying the content. They're enjoying the fact that we're bringing the most important pieces of the news that said they could watch it all in an hour and catch up because, people got little league practice and they got to bring the little girl to ballet and they got a part-time job and, the dishwasher broke. I got to go pick up the car at the mechanic shop. All the bullshit that, with life, right? So it just makes it very convenient.
Right. No, I agree. Yeah, it's hard. When you have all the things in the matrix that keep you busy and you have families and jobs and, the necessary parts of life that somehow I don't know. It's interesting because we've been able to make time for this, but I think it's because we find it so interesting and it's very time consuming. So that's why it becomes a full-time thing to do this. And so you might not
absolutely.
Some of your friends
Absolutely.
that don't understand it quite as much. I was just talking to another friend 3 days ago about the chemtrails, and he wasn't really quite getting it. You know, and I explained that there is a video out there with a woman talking to a pilot and saying, look, here's the numbers, when you fly over, there is more pollutants in our air and water. And then he kind of started to grasp it a little bit. But most people, they don't really even know where to look for news.
Yeah.
So it's nice to give them a one-stop shop like this.
No question. So where is your audience on the flat earth thing? Because, you know, there are questions there. No question about it.
Well, they might be with us. It might be flat, round, neither. We might be in a toroidal field, which has a flat earth in the middle. So I just did
it's neither and both.
There you go. Yeah, we just released interview last week that Honey C. Golden did about 2 years ago on our channel, because it was so well done. It was a great roundtable on that subject matter. But I mean, personally, I think the world is a lot larger than it is. And I think we're in some kind of toroidal field. And something else that came up, I think, in that roundtable was that if you look at the voter turnout, I think we've been lied to about the population of not only the US, but also the world as well. I'm not buying that there's 8 billion people. I think there's a lot less. I don't know.
I know that China is no longer the most populated country in the world. I think India surpassed that by quite a lot. I think they're lying about their figures. Look, the bottom line is, at the end of the day, you know, we're living in the most interesting times of our lives. You know, this is like a shit. Yeah. What do you think of this Elon Musk thing? I mean, what's your take on it?
I think it's theater to wake people up. That's
Great
all.
theater. Yeah.
Do you think maybe it's got something to do with, they got the Democrats yelling and screaming to open up the books, and then when they open up the books, they're gonna say, "Oops, he's not in there," but all these guys are, and now you can't take Pandora and put it back in the box. Is that
brilliant.
maybe?
It's brilliant. I think it's brilliant. It's
He's
working.
in the files, but he was not at the island. He didn't participate in any of the Epstein-y stuff.
Right.
But, but this will all be made clear by popular demand from the Democrats at this point. Yeah, I think it's great. Can you imagine?
Yeah, but you got to ask the question. But you got to ask the question at this point: are the Democrats truly this fucking stupid?
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are.
Well, not always. Not always.
Not all
stupid.
Democrats. There's some friends that are just happen to be Democrats.
Can you imagine how it must feel to be a Democrat in Seattle and you walk past a Tesla at this point? Because you don't know whether to key it, blow it up, buy it, drive it. I mean, the conflict is just unreal.
Right. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Listen, I walked into a restaurant right before I came here. I had an incident with my little puppy. I don't know if you're watching on our show last week, where my dog suffered a massive stroke, and we put him in the system at the EE Center, and we put him on the plasma med bed twice a day, and he was in there for 60 hours in 3 days, and literally he bounced back like 100%. As of right now, it's like the incident never happened. I walked into a place where they serve that shawarma and souvlaki sandwiches and all that, Greek food. And I start talking to the guy. The guy starts talking to me positive about Donald Trump. So we get a conversation going. He's got a couple of tables sitting there. Would you know that some of the people that weren't even involved in the conversation, as they're walking out of the store, they're going like this. They're like, "Okay, buddy, have fun with that finger."
Oh yeah.
It's amazing how people get easily triggered.
Right. Mel, I had a question. We brought this up, so you may have seen this, you may not. I know that there's a trailer that we've seen. Is there at some point the audience is going to get to see that on
the trailer is coming out next week. Bank on it. Okay. I got delivery of it. I got to do a couple of tweaks, and then it's gonna be delivered to the audience all over the world. We're trying to get movie theaters that are owned by patriots, run by patriots, to not charge for the movie. But the thing is, for you to go watch the movie, at least buy a popcorn, a hot dog, maybe both, maybe a soda, whatever, so that you're consuming something. But I'd like to see if we can get the movie shown in Los Angeles, New York, and Miami, say maybe, for a weekend, a long weekend, right? And then just send a blast email to all their Patreons to come on down. There's a free movie about, stopping free, the censoring on free speech, and really start to create a massive buzz. And then, even though they're stopping us, we got a lot of people that are going to put their fingers to work and move that out. Because look, if you didn't know me and you were to see the documentary, at least the first cut that I have, you would think that Mel Carmine's been in the documentary business for a long time. I mean, it's on a scale from 1 to 10, it's a 12. Seriously, no bullshit. It came out that good, but we've been at it for months and months, and we've been tweaking and retweaking because I like to achieve as close to perfection as possible, and I think we have achieved that to some level. And I think the audience is going to resonate with the level of words that are chosen, the tone, the delivery, the story, all of it. And then towards after the 45-minute mark or so, then you can start to see little pieces of the podcast. They're saying, "Hey, we're fed up with this bullshit. Let's stop it already." You know what I mean? If YouTube wants to run in this fashion, then they should go, operate out of North Korea or Cuba or wherever they allow you to do that shit. But in America, where we have a constitution, you're either going to do it our way or you're going to get, the hell out of our way, right?
Right.
So,
How I don't know how much you can reveal at this point, but can you tell us a little bit about the team that's assisting you, or how many people are working on it? That's incredible. Like,
we have mostly volunteers because even though technically speaking, at least they tell me that I'm a multimillionaire, but all my money is tied up in the quantum financial system investments. Right? I'm not going to take it out, so I'm going to wait for the big hit, right? But technically speaking, you got probably about 16, 17, 18 people involved with the project, volunteers and all. Yeah, we got a couple of editors, advisors, consultants. A lot of people really got their finger on this. Carol Maureen was able to watch little bits and pieces. I teased the hell out of her, and she's like, "Mel, this is good." She goes, I could definitely get behind this. She goes, "I would never recommend something that's Mickey Mouse. This is definitely not Mickey Mouse, right?" So it's going out probably, I would say, towards the end of next week. It's safe to say that a 2-3 minute trailer is going to go out, and I expect probably within probably sometime in September, the very latest, early September, the release of the documentary itself, the full documentary.
That's fantastic.
Carol's the one that got us fired up about it. What a great project.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to show you guys the actual trailer. I think you guys are gonna get a kick. And this all started. I was driving back from Venice Beach, Florida, and we were having a podcast. And I got caught up doing it in the car on the way home. Pulled over into some freaking TJ Maxx parking lot, and we did the podcast. And I basically went on a rant. And from that idea came the idea of it evolved into let's just fuck it, let's do a documentary.
Nice.
So so we wrote it out, and we kept tweaking it, and then I sent it to everybody out there, and they did their magic to it, sent it back. We played tennis with it for a little bit, and I think we had it at least on paper to a point where we all were comfortable that this is something that needs to become a real live breathing thing, right? And so now we have that. We have 41 minutes and 56 seconds of the actual first cut, and it is absolutely nuclear level shit.
Yeah. Well, we need attention on this.
Yeah, that's
fantastic. So we got Jesse, the guy in the garage, the guy from South Dakota. He's so awesome. Yeah, he's in there. I got Vem Miller, the guy that was supposed to be the third shooter for Donald Trump, who's my friend.
Oh wow!
Who the guy, the sheriff in California, was trying to make a name for himself because he's running for sheriff or something like that. And let me tell you, my friend Vem Miller is not a shooter. Okay, he was not. He loves Donald Trump. So just a lot of great people in the documentary. Obviously, we got Louis Herms, and we got. Hopefully, we're going to get Nino Rodriguez. And if we don't, you know what? If we don't, I can assure you that the documentary will still be very successful.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Well, I know we got to wrap things up because we got a meeting that we got to get ready for. But
absolutely. I'll be flying out of here tomorrow night, so I'll be home probably around midnight.
Okay.
Great. Shoot us a call.
We'll definitely have you guys on again. Thank you for holding the fort down for me. And if you guys ever need to travel somewhere, you need to have somebody co-host your show, I'm volunteering right here, live on television. I'm available.
You got it, Mel. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I got
Sounds
questions
good, guys.
about Panama, so we'll talk soon.
Sure. Call me anytime. Thank you,
got it,
guys.
brother. All
You
right.
got it.
Take care, everybody. Ciao.
Have a good night, day, afternoon.
I think I had, and there's the end. There it is.